There are spoilers ahead, so please watch with care. I will rate the movie a 1/10. Two plots to the story. The first plot is the story around her missing, and then the second plot is the story around why she was missing. The movie fell flat on its head. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, FMTT, follow my train of thoughts. Today I am going to be reviewing a movie that I watched recently on Amazon Prime. It's a Nigerian movie called To Freedom. As you can see, I think I like Nigerian movies or just like reviewing them just because. Before I go, I want to apologize for the first video that I put out, Jagun Jagun movie review. Apparently, the audio quality is as terrible as this movie that I'm about to review. So let's go for it. To Freedom was a movie that was about a woman who was married to a man, and they seemed like great lovers and they were in a happy marriage, I would say. It looked like they were in a happy marriage, but I mean, there were hints of weirdness at the beginning of the movie. But I mean, we get into it, we start watching it, and all of a sudden, this woman disappears with no way to trace her. And then her husband, who is played by Daniel Etim, Effiong, and the woman in question is played by Osas, Ighodaro. Her husband looks for her and then tries his best to find her, and he doesn't find her, and then he starts to see signs that she could be alive and there's something more to her disappearance, and kind of like, you know, the movie starts to take a turn, and then I'm 65% into the movie. It wasn't 65%, I'll say 70% or 75% into the movie takes a turn and we see a twist, and the plot twist could take you by surprise because the way the movie was set up, slowly moving into that plot was kind of not random, but it was a plot twist. The people who starred in this movie was Daniel Etim, who was the protagonist, Osas Ighodaro, who played his wife, Esodike, who was best friend to Daniel Etim's character, Jide Kosoko, Beverly Osu, and Elvina Ibru. First of all, you want to say, what did you like about the movie? I like to start with that. I thought that the movie was we hardly have movies like that. It was supposed to be a psychological thriller, and psychological thrillers are not stuff that we are into in Nigeria, so it was good to see them attempt a psychological thriller. Another reason why I actually was very eager to watch the movie was because Biodun Stephen directed the movie, and I do like a lot of the movies that she directs. In terms of what I liked about the movie, honestly, I can't pinpoint anything that I liked about the movie. There was only one scene that I was like, oh my God, this scene is really touching, was when he was screaming on the floor, and that's Daniel Etim's character was screaming on the floor, and Esodike, held him down, and you could see the emotions in Esodike. And this is one of the things that leads me to my first point. I think that Esodike could have been better as the protagonist rather than the best friend of the protagonist. That's what I think. I thought that the acting was off. There was rain falling when she called that she was stuck right before she went missing. But he went out like right after, and everywhere was dry. There was no sign of rain. It didn't look like a day for someone to get missing. I mean, no day looks like a day for someone to get missing, but I thought that some somber way to portray that she was going to get missing would have been nice, especially because it was a thriller. She was missing, and then the next day he casually goes to work, and then they fast forward to 1 year. I thought that the emotions in which they were trying to portray. So now I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong way to look for someone or to kind of worry about somebody, but it seemed like they rushed the parts where they were supposed to show us how he struggled through the 1 year. But I think they showed maybe one or two scenes right after she got missing, and then boom, they fast forwarded to 1 year later, and then they were talking about how she was missing. And for me, I was like, I think this is a little bit rushed, even though the movie was moving very slowly. I don't know if that makes sense. The movie was moving very slowly, but they were not really saying anything. They were rushing through the pieces, even though the movie was moving very slowly. Like, the pieces that matter were kind of rushed through. And then I think that he could have done better with some of the acting. There was a part where he was playing the piano and his hand was clearly not in sync with what was playing. I think that he could have even just taught him that piece of the piano. I just think it's just attention to details type of thing. It was just a nitty-picky thing for me. Again, the movie was really slow. Not sure if it was on purpose. I was trying to figure out, and I wrote this while I was watching the movie. I wasn't sure why it was so slow and what was going to happen, and why he kept wondering, saying she was alive and then say, okay, yes, I accept that she's dead, and then, she's alive, and then, like, you're seeing a picture, we're not seeing the picture. So it was kind of weird, and I wasn't sure what exactly the purpose was, why the movie was moving really slow. There were ways to kind of fill this in and even fast track that storyline, the first part of the plot, while tightening up some of those stories. I thought that the staging was poor. It was just her pictures in the house. It seemed like she lived there alone. She even seemed single. Not any picture of Daniel Etim's character. Another thing that I thought about the staging was that they portrayed him as a very rich person, like extremely rich. He apparently called his influential in-laws poor. That's how rich he was. I don't know. I don't even know. But anyway, his charisma, his house, nothing showed that he was a rich guy. And he looked like a normal person. The storytelling was flat and not properly formed. There were two plots to the story. There was the beginning plot, which sets the stage for the missing lady. And then there was the second plot, which explains why and how she got missing. And I don't think that they formed the story very well to kind of set us up for the second plot. I think that at some point I started saying, it's either she's trying to get him for this money they speak of, or he is a weird guy, because there were things that pointed to him being a weird, abusive guy, control freak guy, and she's trying to get back at him, or there's something. I think that they could have built the storyline of each character, and I felt like the lines were not delivered properly. I think that the characters struggle to give their lines. The particular person that really struggled, in my opinion, was the lady who played Osas' mom, Elvina Ibru. I think she seemed very unimpressed by the lines she was given. Beautiful woman. But I just couldn't even listen to her. Like, I was cringing when she was speaking, because I just couldn't listen to her. Some weird things was, apparently Daniel Etim's character was married before, and he had been in this same situation where he had killed his former wife, and somehow Osas didn't know about it. So she basically got married to a man that she had no idea about. I thought that the second part of the plot was rushed. They spent like too much on the first part of the plot, and they didn't delve deep into the meat of the story, which was the second part of the plot. I think that they failed to send home a story about abuse in marriage. I think that they could have done better. So I did struggle with the movie. To be honest, I will rate the movie a 1/10. And if not because I really want to rate movies. I personally will not sit down to watch that movie. It took me 3 days to complete. Daniel Etim is a great movie star, but I don't think that this movie was for him. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you watch it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.